Hello, everybody, and welcome to Friends of the Force, a Star Wars podcast. I'm your host, Brad.
And I'm your host, Sarah.
And this week on the show, in honor of the Academy Awards week, we are once again back for, drumroll please, the 4th annual Golden Gorg Awards. It's back.
It's back.
One might say it never left, but it did for 1 year, and we're very sorry.
It's a little bit similar to the Golden Globes, but less controversy.
Right.
No controversy led to us taking a year off. Last year was just kind of crazy town. So we just took a little hiatus. And now we've returned as if no time has passed, just like the Golden Globes. And hopefully we are a better, more mature, and more ethical awards show at this time.
I hope. Yeah, we're just being lore
too.
accurate, you know? Like, we had to take the year off, just like the Golden Globes. That's all.
All right, lore accurate.
Lore accurate Gorg.
We're so thrilled to be back to once again award Gorgs to the worthiest, the most deserving aspects of the Star Wars galaxy. And when we were thinking what sort of category, what could we reward this year? One thing came to mind. And that was, of course, the legend, the love of our lives, Revenge of the Sith herself.
Ayo!
It's her 20th anniversary this year. She's out in the world, 2 decades in, you know? People still love her, including
She's so
us.
close to being able to have an alcoholic beverage.
In America. She
In
can
America,
have alcohol
yeah.
other places, but
She lives in
US.
Canada, actually. You wouldn't know her.
Oh, she real? But yeah, I am so happy that we are celebrating Revenge of the Sith's 20th anniversary this year. And what better way to get some Revenge of the Sith content on the Friends of the Force podcast feed, is considering that we're having an Andor spring and summer and High Republic summer, which means that a lot of our ROTS coverage is gonna have to be held to a little bit later in the year. So this is also us saying, hey, Rods, we really do love you. We haven't forgotten about you. We want to celebrate you all the time.
That's a very good point to make. And trust us when we say we have plans. Look toward the month of September is all I will say. We got some good stuff. We got some good stuff brewing.
We say that broadly. And I just want to save ourselves here just in case plans change a little
Just in
bit.
case.
Who knows? Visions has set to have a release date. Andor's release schedule just shifted things for us on the calendar. So who knows? But September is our goal.
Right. Yeah. If September doesn't work out just for the love of alliteration, I feel like we failed. So we're gunning.
You're right.
We're gunning. I won't say what it's called. I'm sure you could guess, listener. But anyways, Revenge of the Sith. We're here, a little treat before we head to Japan, and hopefully there's a panel at Japan celebrating the 20th. Hopefully Natalie shows up. I am still clowning about that to this day. I still think it could happen. Who knows? But I think we have to first start off the Golden Gorg Awards this year by saying Revenge of the Sith officially back in theaters in April. I know we mentioned it on our Andor trailer reaction, but quick follow-up reaction for listeners who didn't hear that, quick spiel. How excited are you to once again go see, or did you see Revenge of the Sith?
No.
Oh my gosh, this is your first time
once again
seeing it.
See, this is really the Brad and Sarah are 3 years apart and therefore have lived entirely different lives in the culture. Really coming out here. I was a baby child and I think I got introduced to Star Wars around the time of Revenge of the Sith being out, but I definitely didn't see it in theaters.
I'm so excited for you.
7 when it came out. So, and there's also one that I haven't seen with the symphony. So I've seen the entire original trilogy played live with the symphony. I'm waiting for the Chicago Symphony Orchestra to announce the sequels because they do one every 2 years. So fingers crossed, if the Chicago Symphony is listening, please, The Last Jedi, Force Awakens, I would pay big monies. Anyway, that aside, I haven't seen any of the prequels on the big screen except for now episode 1 because I saw that in theaters during that anniversary. So 2 and 3. I'm still waiting. I've seen two. I've seen Attack of the Clones more on like the Honda Odyssey media little DVD player more than anywhere else.
I thought you were just going to say like in a Honda Odyssey, like you drove to drive-thrus throughout your life to go watch Attack of the Clones in a Honda Odyssey.
No.
But no,
that was just the road trip movie of like
TV.
me and my brother, like of our childhood. So like anytime we go camping for the summer, we have like a 10-hour drive to wherever. Attack the Clones.
I love that. I love that for you.
It's the best. It's the best.
I feel like I did that with Phantom Menace, but it was like the VHS player underneath our back seat. So yeah. Again, I'm so excited for you though.
It's the different lives we've lived due to our 3-year-age difference.
I'm seriously so excited for you. Your life is going to change. When I saw Revenge of the Sith multiple times in theaters, and it is a life-changing experience.
But you haven't seen it anytime recently, anytime in your adulthood, have you?
I have not seen it since it was theatrically released.
I think it's going to change your life again
20 years ago. Yeah.
Because your memory of it is like 9-10-year-old Brad having the time of his child life in the theaters. But now you get to enjoy adult Brad with 10 plus years of Star Wars fandom, active fandom. And now you get to go and appreciate it on the big screen again. See, I think it's going to be big for both of us is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. And I got that with Phantom Menace because like I saw Phantom Menace in 1999. I saw it again for the 3D re-release. What? I remember.
One in the womb? Jeez Louise.
The only thing I remember from that movie is the opening crawl. That is the only thing, the Star Wars text. That is all I remember.
Your parents were taking you to see movies when you were like 3 and 4?
Yeah. We saw Phantom Menace. Let's go.
That's crazy.
I was obsessed with the Phantom Menace. Obsessed. And so now this is the first other prequel besides Phantom Menace that I will have seen multiple times because they never ended up doing 3D releases past Phantom Menace in like 2011. So this is my moment.
Was there an Attack of the Clones anniversary in theaters? Am I?
There was
silly, stupid,
not.
Dumb? Oh.
There was not.
Well,
there was an
silly,
Empire
stupid,
Strikes
dumb.
Back. There was a Return of the Jedi. And so now we're in this.
Oh, well, then there was episode 1.
Yeah. So like I feel like we're in this revival period in Hollywood where like theaters are struggling.
Clones, though?
I know, but it's like theaters are struggling post COVID. Like we're trying to get people back in the theaters. So what's the best way to do that? It's just like play the hits. Like what's so wrong about throwing a movie back in the theater? I will guarantee you we will get Attack of the Clones in 2027 for the 25th anniversary. We will get that in theaters. And I will also bet you we will get The Force Awakens later this year for its 10th anniversary. 100%.
You think?
100%.
Ooh.
They just did Interstellar for its 10th. So I think Force Awakens is going to come out later this year.
I mean, I would go pay money.
Which means in 2027, we would get Attack of the Clones in May and Last Jedi in December as well.
That's an ideal situation for me, to be
very
quite honest.
Ideal. Very, very ideal. I will say just one last point on this. Again, very excited, but we did get a new Matt Ferguson Star Wars poster.
It's so good.
His art is just insane. I love his style. I have his Rogue One. I have his Empire, his Return of the Jedi, his Phantom Menace, and now I get to buy the Revenge of the Sith. And eventually, I hope if we get Force Awakens, he starts doing the sequel trilogy this year. And I just eventually need his Last Jedi poster when that comes out. So I think he's going to do the whole 9 movies, but Matt's work is just simply awesome. We need to get him on here. We should just talk to him. He seems like a nice guy.
You know what? Let's make it happen.
Come on the pod, Matt.
I really like this poster. I think it's super clear. It's very simple. It highlights important moments. It's not too busy. It's just right.
It's really so good. It's really just like so good. Like I need it on my wall like right now.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
My problem is here I am. I'm just a girl living in the world and I've got so many posters of various sizes from Star Wars, from books, from K-pop, everything. And I don't have that sort of room in the place where I'm living now. And I'm certainly not going to have that sort of room when all I can afford is like 200 square feet. You know? Like, where am I putting these beautiful posters?
That's when you buy one of those big portfolios. I have
where
one,
am I putting,
and I just keep stuffing.
Brad, where am I putting the binder? I'm not going to have closets. I'm going to be living in a cardboard box.
You throw it behind the bed.
Throw it behind your bed frame.
Right.
Right. That sounds like a great idea. I'll make a note of that one, keep it in the back of my mind for when I move out to somewhere else and have no storage space. But man, yeah, the struggle of having too many beautiful pieces of art and too many posters is real. We all need to live in gigantic homes where all we have is wall space.
I have plenty of wall space on my podcast desk right now, and I don't know what to do with it yet. I still am too nervous to start doing it, because once it's up there, it's up there.
He says that as he owns the home. It could just change things anytime he wants.
That's true. That is very true.
You have so much great art, though, so you really could do anything and it would look good.
Well, this Rots one, I'll tell you what, it's going up immediately when I get it. So very, very excited. We should do something fun on our Patreon maybe too when we see Rots in theaters. Maybe do like a little bonus episode for the peeps.
Oh, so, perhaps.
Yeah, we got some good bonus Patreon episodes coming out. Just a quick plug up front. Subscribe over there. We got some good stuff.
Yes.
Coming in the months ahead, so stay tuned. But I think that being said, let's jump into the Golden Gorgs, Sarah.
That's right.
Quick recap for those of you who have never joined us for a Gorgs before, which I think is like important to say, like, where did the show come from? What the heck is a Gorg?
What the heck is a Gorg? If you don't know what a Gorg is, get out. I'm kidding. Please don't. Yeah. Stay here.
Watch both seasons of Star Wars Resistance right now. What are you doing? Pause this episode, go watch them, and then come back.
Come back.
Yeah. So Golden Gorg Awards back in 2021, we did a Star Wars History at the Oscars episode, which is still to my day one of my favorite things that we've ever done, because it was like really fun, kind of research heavy, not like research heavy, but like we went down some rabbit holes and learned some things about Star Wars that we hadn't realized before. And we both have a passion for movies.
Saw some fun Oscar clips that we hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was like a blend of our interests. We went to the Academy Museum back in 2022 at Celebration Anaheim.
Yeah, it was really fun.
During the Andor premiere, actually, when we were almost late to the premiere because we were at the Academy Museum. So Sarah and I love the Oscars.
It's true.
So we did that episode, and at the end we hosted the first annual Golden Gorg Awards, where we gave out awards to all of Star Wars movies. And every year since, we've just been picking new genres or categories like publishing or like live action Star Wars TV. And then, of course, this year, Revenge of the Sith specifically, because in all fairness, you know, Hayden Christensen back in 2005 got a Razzie Award, which is like, Razzie Awards aren't good things to get. They're like the
honestly,
the bad awards.
They're kind of just mean is what they are.
Yeah. They're mean-spirited.
They're just mean.
Right. So this is our reclamation of Revenge of the Sith and award season, because at the Gorgs, these are very prestigious Gorgs, very prestigious awards.
This is about as good as it gets when it comes to Star Wars awards. I mean, this is the top of the top. And you know, I want the people to know. They're probably turned on this episode as they do, and you think, oh my gosh, they've got so many awards to give out. And we've only got so much time, you know, blocked out on the DVR for this. But we're going to keep it snappy, keep it punchy, keep it fun. We have so many awards to give out. This is just our opening monologue. This is me making a joke about the runtime of award shows. Thank you.
Sarah, what's our format?
You're doing my best.
What's our format of picking nominees and then coming to a consensus on the winner? How do we do that?
Now, this isn't something we discussed prior to hitting record, so we're making it up right now. We have a list of our categories in the order in which we are going to award them. We each have nominated approximately 3, right? Approximately
separately,
3?
Yes. We each came up with our own 3
separately.
Yeah.
Although there's a couple where it's more than 3 on my side, but we'll get there when we get there. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And we will share our nominees and then duke it out to award the one true winner, unless we decide to break the rules and make new rules about winners. This is our awards show. We can do whatever we want. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. Yeah, the points don't matter, and we can split the Gorg any number of ways that we want. Although I think we've only historically ever split the Gorg in half. Maybe.
We could split it in more than half if necessary.
We could split it in 20 ways if we really wanted to for the 20th anniversary. We get a 20th of a Gorg.
That's a little bit of Gorg.
Yeah.
But maybe we all deserve a little bit of Gorg.
Yeah. I also want to say, too, for our animal rights people listening to the show, no Gorgs are harmed in the making of the Golden Gorg Awards.
These are Gorg statues. Clear. Don't worry about it.
Some of them
Super
are cake.
Chill. Some of them, well, it's like, you know, when you get nominated for things and then you get like a goodie bag of all these brands that are like, hey, you're a rich, famous person and we want you to do all of we want you to try our product, rich, famous person. So let me give you $20,000 worth of free product. That's our goodie bag, is just a cake. Right.
So if you see us selling brand new skin cream next year on the Golden Gorg Awards, just know we have $20,000 and that's why we're doing it. So more to come.
Let us all pray.
Partnerships, where are you at? So Golden Gorg Awards, let's talk about our categories here. So
that's right.
I'll list off the first couple and then maybe you can take us home with our heavy hitters. So we are going to start with Best Music Track, Best Tertiary Character, Best Meme, Best Sound Effect, Best Costume. I'll let you take the last couple here.
That's right. And then we're going to share a serious moment with some in memoriam to the characters that we lost in Revenge of the Sith. And it's not a competition, but we will choose the most heartbreaking death because they hurt in this one. Then we have a special award to give out. I don't want to spoil the surprise, but I think it's a pretty important award that we think is to somebody or something very deserving. So please look forward to that. And then finally, we get our big awards of the night. We will announce Best Performance and Best Scene.
Hell yeah. Oh man, Best Scene. I got some good ones. And maybe that should have been more than 3. Like Best Picture is usually 7. So as we're
Best
going,
Picture?
how many?
Best Picture? Are you even an Oscars fan? Best
10,
Picture's 10.
Well, it used to be 7 back in my day.
They keep changing the rules. But that's why we are allowed to change the rules whenever we want as well. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah. How many did you choose for Best Scene, by the way?
3.
Okay, cool. So I won't add more then. I was going to say, if you had 5, then I was going to have to figure out 2 live on air.
Let your heart do it in, you know.
No, I got
go where you need to go.
We'll be here for 3 hours if I add 2 more. Let's be real.
But that's what it's all about. If we have to extend past our window, we have the authority on the channel to pause the crime drama that comes after this episode.
It's
until
fine.
we finish.
It's all the editor's problem after the fact, right? Like we don't have to worry about that.
That's right. That's right. The editor who is also on this Zoom and names happens to be Brad.
Let's go. All right. So
wait a second. Before we get into it, we have to share our Gorg fashion.
Oh, our Gorg fashion. Ooh. Oh.
You can't. I almost forgot about Gorg fashion.
Is today going to be our actual Gorg fashion because we unintentionally ended up matching? Kind of, or is it our fake Gorg fashion? Like, should we do both? Okay,
it's fake Gorg fashion. It's
okay.
What
we'll
are
say
you
our real ones at
the
the end. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. What's your fake Gorg fashion? What do you like? What's the vibe of this year's award show, in terms of fashion for you?
You know, I was really trying to embrace kind of the like Liberty Dies vibe. So all black,
mournful.
Yeah, I got some like kind of spiky shoulders, like little spikes. It's like don't mess with me.
It's like hostile architecture.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So touch me, you get poked.
Right. Commentary on the state of our society.
Yeah,
it's bold. Yeah, I like it.
And then as I'm walking down the carpet, I can click a button on the inside of my sleeve, and I will actually shoot out lightning. From the spikes. They're actually electric spikes.
That's something.
Yeah.
It's a little alarming.
And then I shout into the air, unlimited power.
Okay, but let's clear the red carpet before you do that, please.
Yeah. Probably.
I like fashion. Fashion can be art.
Again, I'm going for real hostility, empire vibes. Liberty's dead. I'm the law. you know?
Got it. Yep. I see
Yeah.
the vision. It's
Yeah.
speaking to something in our current moment. And I think, when fashion can be timely like that, I think it's really compelling.
It's a statement on fascism for sure. Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
I wanted to consider the tone of the movie and consider some of the color schemes. So I am wearing a sort of very modest purplish, not too deep a hue of purple, but a darker purple to be sure, floor length gown. And it's got an overcoat that is a darker shade of purple. And that is going to have a full sleeve and is just going to be beautiful. And that's what's going to have a little bit of the train. And in the lighter shade of purple in the dress, it's going to have a high neck. We don't need too much jewelry, but like I am doing a thin headband that gives us some sparkle. I'm going to go with silver and a nice curly wave in the hair. Nothing too crazy, but just kind of emulating the purples of Padme.
I love that.
Thank you.
The purples by Padme would be such a good like
collection
fashion line, you know?
That's right. Anyway.
Just thinking about it.
Listener, what are you wearing to the Gorgs? What's your fashion like? Are you thinking about the present moment? Are you doing a fun play on a suit? Are you showing up in a themed outfit, a cosplay, a casual outfit? Let us know. It's very important to the people who will roast our fashion after the fact. I'm a big fan of the YouTuber Hot Lamode. I always watch his reactions to everybody's red carpet fashion after every award show. So maybe he'll review the Gorgs. All right. With that all being said, now we can get into awards. Now that we're in the building, we're all here. Everybody's seated. There's a little clap. We've now done our opening monologue. We've got our fashion. I think we should do some awards.
Hell yeah. Let's start with best music track. How would you like to do this? We're going to alternate. So if I go first this round, you go first next round, etc. So do you want to start off?
You go first this round.
We have, of course, the Johnny Williams himself. The Johnny Williams. I don't know why I said it that way. We have Battle of the Heroes, Padme's Ruminations, and Grievous Speaks to Lord Sidious. Everybody clapped.
All worthy nominations. All worthy nominations.
Yes.
I would like to nominate Padme's Ruminations, General Grievous, and General Grievous Speaks to Lord Sidious.
Oh, wow. You went for both.
I did go for both
Grievous tracks. Isn't there a third Grievous track in there somewhere?
There's Grievous and the Droids. Yes.
Oh my God. And Grievous. Grievous got a lot of.
Well, he's very important.
It's like Grievous was Drake and John Williams was Kendrick, but like it's a diss track. He's like dissing Grievous like multiple times, but dissing as in like creating some of the best music.
Right. Now, the one thing that's crazy about this soundtrack is that John Williams did not get an Oscar nomination for this genuinely stellar soundtrack, which
a crime.
I have some notes for the Academy. It's fine. I'll write them out and send them. So we really could have award each and every song in this soundtrack, but I'm glad to know that we have some standouts that overlap. But I just want to hear, what's speaking to you about these tracks that you've nominated.
Okay, well, first off, just a note on the score. I just want to see what it was up against, because this is like actually kind of a crime. Brokeback Mountain. Okay, that did win. John Williams got nominated twice for Munich and Memories of a Geisha.
Oh, the Memories of the Geisha soundtrack is really good, but also, where's Star Wars Revenge of the Sith?
Like The Constant Gardener by Alberto Iglesias. Like, what is The Constant Gardener? I'm sorry to a Constant Gardener, but like,
you're probably going to listen to that soundtrack and be like, oh crap, that's really beautiful.
Oh, it has Ray Fiennes in it. I'll give it some credit. But then like Pride and Prejudice also like, it was something good. And, like Brokeback Mountain was a moment, it was a big moment.
Right. The real reason that Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith did not get nominated is because the critics were mean to, and the fans were mean to the prequels. And that's a shame because these scores for all three of the prequels are really quite excellent.
Yeah. Okay, so what was your initial question? I totally forgot because I was getting
what about your track speaks to you? What do you want to fight for?
Well, Battle of the Heroes is definitely one I would fight for because, back in my day, we popped a CD into a CD player, and usually I was doing that after school to listen to Battle of the Heroes on repeat, especially as I wanted to run through the house pretending I was in the Battle of the Heroes, swinging my sword. So that's up there. General Grievous speaks to the Lord Sidious, has that like operatic John Williams kind of Duel of the Fates-esque score, which I think is just like really epic. The only thing with that song is I think it kind of tapers out at the end a little bit. It's like a little front loaded on the song, right? So it's not like, for me, it doesn't hit all the beats all the way through, right? Padme's Ruminations, on the other hand, I think Padme's Ruminations is such a thing where it's like, Battle of the Heroes is like epic. It makes the fight scene cool. But like Padme's Ruminations is a scene where it's only the music that is the dialogue, right? And so it's carrying so much of the acting, the unspoken word, the nonverbal cues of Padme and Anakin. So I'm gonna lean. This might be a hot take. I might lean towards Padme's Ruminations here because of how much it's keeping on its shoulders in that moment.
I do agree with you that General Grievous speaks to Lord Sidious has that beautiful first like minute or so, and then it does taper out a bit. It's not as punchy once you get past that big choral moment. However, I do want to speak to the sort of bombastic score that we get with just the General Grievous theme. It's so big, it's so much fun. It kind of punches throughout, which is really great, and I'm just a big fan. So I would like to put my chips in on General Grievous, the track, but I do agree with you. Padme's Ruminations is so singular, I think, in all of like Star Wars sounds and music, that it would certainly be a worthy winner. But I don't want to count out General Grievous, the track, right away.
Yeah. Would you rank General Grievous above Grievous Speaks to Lord Sidious?
Yes, I think General Grievous is more consistent throughout.
Okay. What about your opinions on Battle of the Heroes? Where does that sit?
I was only allowed to nominate 3. It's number 4. It's a perfect song. It's an epic song. It's this track of a generation. But it's like, number 1 on the Billboard charts for 100 weeks. We've all heard it.
Right. Yeah. It's the espresso of 2005. Banger song. We'll listen to it all the time. But yeah.
Espresso, Battle of the Heroes, same thing.
But like Juno's kind of better.
Right. See, yeah. We're getting somewhere together.
I'm only thinking of this because Sabrina Carpenter coming back to New York City this fall just announced. Got to get those Halloween night tickets, or I will die if I don't.
And think of you. Yeah. So Godspeed.
Yep. I will die if I don't go. Yep. Okay, Sarah. How would you feel? How would you feel if I offered you a Padme's Ruminations in these trying times? Like, could I sway you? Could I sway you in that direction?
I could.
If we're doing like ranked choice voting,
Let's
probably Padme's Ruminations first, General Grievous second, maybe Battle of the Heroes third, and then like kind of Grievous Speaks to Lord Sidious fourth.
Yeah.
So do we want to?
Let's give this one to our girl.
She's got to have one in there somewhere, right?
Well, she's probably gonna get others too.
She probably will.
Let's give her an early win.
Congratulations to it's not. It's partly Padme's win, partly John Williams' win. It's all the above. Everybody won. But congratulations formally to John Williams for probably his second or third Gorg. I would assume, I think we gave him a Gorg before.
We should really make a spreadsheet of all the Gorgs that we've given out.
We really should. That's a project for next year's Gorgs.
That's right. We start organizing on our 5th year, so get excited.
Again, just like the Golden Globes, we don't have our shit together until long after we should.
That's right.
Yeah.
But like much lower stakes. No Scandal. Yeah. I just want to make that really clear.
Right. No
We're
scandals
different.
here.
We're
No
different.
scandals. Yeah.
All
We're
right.
not like other award shows.
We're better. Question mark? Okay. The next award is one that I am incredibly passionate about. And it is the award for Best Tertiary Character. Now, some of my most favorite characters in all of Star Wars are tertiary characters in Revenge of the Sith. These nominations from me are likely to be highly predictable. So let's say them together in alphabetical order. Everybody ready? Okay. Boga, the Varactyl.
Oh, okay.
Tarful, the Wookiee. And Tion Medin, the Powan.
Okay. Excellent choice. We share two. I did choose Tion Medin, played by Bruce Spence. Captain Tarful, except my autocorrect changed it to Tearful. Very sad Tarful because of all the war on Kashyyyk in this movie.
That's real.
Played by Michael Kingma. We should get Michael on the pod this year for the ROTS anniversary.
I'm really
Tell us about your time as Tarful. Yeah. My third one though is the Polis Massa midwife droid. Known
my God.
Known more commonly as the Uba droid. Because I would, one could argue, would the Star Wars exist without the Polis Massa midwife droid? Like, one could argue, if you really go back from the moment in A New Hope where Luke blows up the Death Star, right?
That's right.
Does Luke blow up this Death Star if he's not getting taken out of the womb by the lady going Uba with her robot hands?
Right.
Droids have rights too in the Star Wars galaxy, which I love. L3 taught us anything.
That's right.
It's that droids should be nominated for Gorgs.
And I think that Varactyl should be nominated for Gorgs too. I'm very passionate about my queen, Boga, period. I love her.
I mean, one could also argue Boga saved Obi-Wan Kenobi, which also, if Obi-Wan died, would the Star Wars have happened? I think we see two things here. I'm just gonna like make an executive decision here almost.
Whoa. Are you keep talking.
Maybe not an executive decision yet.
Keep talking.
But I feel a Gorg split moment coming.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say. But you can keep talking. No, I just feel it in the air. Possibly.
If this were my award show and it were just me, I'd split my Gorg 3 ways. And I know that's more than 2. I know that would be a little unprecedented. However, I love Tion Medin, Tarful, and Boga very, very much. It's very serious for me, to be really honest with you. I have a little piece of art of Tion Medin that I'm looking at right now. He literally lives right behind my laptop, which is a little scary because Tion Medin is a little scary, but his character design is just so very good. And then behind me and on my Wookiee shrine, I have the Tarful Funko Pop. Thank you, Brad.
I had to buy the 3-pack just to get the one.
That's right. But you and your brother have the other 2. So shout out.
Yeah. I don't think you wanted Palpatine. They were all ROTS themed ones. It's a good 3-pack. Yeah, the Utapau Trooper. Yeah.
Anyway, I have Tarful, the best one. So
that's a really good pop. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also love Boga the Varactyl so much. I can't say something because it's a super secret, but I'm just a huge Boga the Varactyl fan. I understand that makes the intrigue way higher, but I just simply will not on the podcast. It makes it weirder than it is. I promise it's not. I just love Boga. I've always loved Boga.
Listen, I think we have to have some standards here, right? And I say that because I love Tion Medin, right? But if we're thinking of splitting the Gorg, I feel like just saying like, let's split the Gorg 4 ways and give them all. This isn't a participation award, okay?
It is. They're tertiary characters.
If we're thinking tertiary characters, though, 3. I think we have to split the tertiary character award 3 ways, right? And I'm going to make a case. So basically only one of ours is not going to get in, which is a little offensive to me if you don't let Boga the Varactyl in. Maybe we split it 2 ways, just to our
Tion Medin and Tarful, and we cut the women or female coded beings out entirely.
No, I was gonna say we should give it the Tarful, the Polis Massa midwife droid, and Boga, because all three of those tertiary characters had a role to play to make the Star War happen. If not for Boga, Obi-Wan dies. If not for the midwife droid, Padme dies in childbirth and does not give birth to the twins. If not for Tarful, Yoda does not get off Kashyyyk to train Luke, and Luke never becomes a Jedi. These are the three unsung heroes of the Star Wars galaxy. Are these three beings? Anyways, let's split the Gorg three ways. That's my opinion. I'll turn it back over to you. Your thoughts?
I just don't have strong feelings for the Polis Massa droid. But maybe, if we're all getting a third of the pie, except for Tion Medin, who I will send a nice letter of consolation and be like, I'm sorry, buddy. Then I will accept it if it means that Boga gets the award, because I am not 100% sure if anybody loves Tion Medin more than me. If you, listener, are a huge Tion Medin stan, please let me know. I think this movie just came at the right time in my childhood. This because I was like, Jimmy Smits as Bail Organa is my father. This is like, I adopt him. Like, this is my favorite character. I don't know. I have a great relationship with my dad. It's not like I need anybody to fill in that role. But I love Bail Organa so much because of his existence in this movie, and it's the same for Tion Medin, Tarful, and Boga. There's really no explaining exactly why I love these characters. They were just there for me when I was like, 8.
Fair. I mean, who wouldn't want Bail Organa to be their dad? Let's be real.
He's great.
I will say, like, Tion Medin, just to give him, if we're not going to give him a Gorg, just another comment to make him shine a little bit is
his design.
When the first Revenge of the Sith trailer came out, like one of the first ones, and he was in the trailer, and he was like opening his mouth when he says like 10th level, thousands of battle droids, and his like mouth opens and you see his teeth. I remember seeing his teeth in that trailer and being like, oh, what is that? Who is that? Like, I was just so intrigued by
the design
the
goes
Powans.
Crazy.
Yeah. And we've seen some Powans popping up. Like, we see a Powan in Mask of Fear. We saw one in Jedi Survivor. Cal Kestis interacts. He's a senator at the beginning of the movie or the video game.
The Grand Inquisitor himself?
Grand Inquisitor, yeah. Yeah. So there's some good Powans, and we got to respect the game of the Powan being introduced in this movie and, living on in Star Wars. So just like a moment there to highlight Tion Medin. But
thank you.
Yeah. I know you're not like a huge fan of the midwife droid, but can you argue that like access to like, like women's healthcare and
yes, wow, you're gonna like try and trap me and be like, and she hates women's access to healthcare. No, of course.
One might say if you just didn't give the Gorg to a midwife droid, you just hate midwife droids. I mean,
yeah, and I don't have much of an emotional connection to the midwife droid, but I can acknowledge her role as a tertiary character is vital. So I support this decision.
Okay. I know this is very hard for you. I feel the energy off of you of like the Tion Medin of it all. Of like,
he's very important to me, but it's okay.
He's very okay. He's still a nominee though. He's a nominee.
Of course a nominee, and that is important in itself. I know that it will help him land his next role, get his next job. Being a Golden Gorg's nominee is a win in of itself.
When Tion Medin shows up in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, along with Rada the Hutt, played by Jeremy Allen White, as a ripped gladiator Hutt, right? We're gonna get the trailer for that movie, and it's gonna say, including Golden Gorg nominee Tion Medin.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, so just think about that.
Yeah, and if Tion Medin does show up in another Star Wars thing, I'll never say a bad thing about it.
I forgot he was in Force Collector, by the way, like in the flashback. You probably did not forget.
Justice for Force Collector was kind of a fun book. Okay.
I just remembered that today because I looked it up on Google and it was like, here's the Tion Medin fact you never knew. And it was an article from last year and it was about Force Collector. And I'm like, bro, that book came out like 6 years ago. Like, what are we doing?
I'm just saying, it's kind of a fun book. It's a little predictable, but like it's a little fun journey we go on, collecting
Facts.
the Force artifacts. Okay.
Yeah.
I say justice for Force Collector.
Yeah.
Thank
That's
you.
fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Our next nominee, Best Meme. Oh, this is a good one.
It's a really
This is a very
important
good one.
It's
Yeah.
an important one because this whole movie is so memeable.
Yeah.
Shout out.
My choices are, it's over Anakin. I have the high ground.
Ooh.
I know, it's like a class. You gotta
It's a
nominate
classic.
it, right?
It's a real
It's like the
important one.
Adrian Brody of this year, right? You just gotta. Unlimited Power. And this will make a fine addition to my collection.
Wow. These are excellent nominees, and I'm really excited to add 3 different nominees.
Wow, we had 3 different ones.
I
I mean,
know.
like, what a movie to have no
That's what I'm
commonality, right?
Right. Have you ever heard of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
How could I forget?
It's not a story the Jedi would tell you, Brad. But I will.
Throw all my nominees out the window.
As a nominee for the
You've
Gorg.
already won.
I have It's Treason then.
Oh, that's a good one. That's so good.
And I don't know, I mean, it's a meme in the sense that it's a meme, but it's also like a I'm not crying. I'm crying and I'm painfully laughing. This is how liberty dies, with thunderous applause.
Ooh, it's like dark humor meme.
Yeah, it didn't quite have the same weight to it until maybe this year for us. But it's always kind of been a heavier one, but it's still a good reaction gif. It's still a good moment. It's very quotable, obviously. So that's why this category is big. That's why it's important, because we have 6 different memes.
Yeah. Wow.
Now we could cut the Gorg 6 ways, but I don't think we should. I think we should pick a best meme.
Listen, I think you have some good nominees. I'm kind of inclined just to switch them over to yours and just start making an argument for one of yours.
Wow.
Like, I'm leaning towards Darth Plagueis because like the whole scenery of the Opera House. We just saw Plagueis in the late Acolyte. Cannot believe we're not going to see more of Plagueis. Like, what the hell?
It's so bonkers. It's so bonkers.
Actually
the timeline
crazy.
we live in is so silly, but whatever.
Like the worst timeline ever. That we finally got Plagueis almost 20 years after.
It's fine.
Wow.
There's a mun in a skeleton crew just hanging out in the mud baths. So
Could be him.
Maybe it's Plagueis.
Like I said in our episode with our friend Molly, he's just getting his skin ready to become Snoke. He becomes Snoke because he doesn't continue going to the mud baths anyways.
He doesn't moisturize. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll really do it to you. Before we kind of determine this award, because I won't disagree with you. I really think that, Darth Plagueis the Rise is such a good one. Such a good one. But, when you said your 3 nominees, I was like, crap, that's a really good one. Why didn't I think of that? I think we had the same thoughts perhaps for both of us. So this will make a fine addition to my collection. I would just like to say a special justice to this will make a fine addition to my collection, because it's so great. And also it's so bonkers that Tom O'Gravis has a lightsaber collection just hidden in his cloak. Like, that's silly.
It is really great. And I think that meme in particular, for like every single Star Wars thing I literally add to my collection, it's just like the perfect.
Yeah.
I think actually when Matt Ferguson released his Revenge of the Sith poster, I replied to him and said, amazing work. This will make a fine addition to my collection. If that's not like the best time to say that.
Yeah.
I don't know what is.
I think that one has a lot of general memeability. But
Yeah.
I think what's so great about Plagueis the Wise is it has such specific memeability. It's such like an inside. It's kind of like an inside baseball Star Wars thing, and it's also
100%.
And it's also one of the 2. I feel like it's one of the 2 kind of scenes in this movie that if you put it down to the initials of the words, like the Star Wars have to be like, oh, yes, I know what you're talking about. The other one is, of course, kind of the high ground scene, Anakin, the whole thing. Your new empire. Yeah. Would you like to give this one to, have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I think so.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Shout out to Emperor Palpatine and the Opera House for their work in making sure that this meme hit. And also the camera work and also the of the opera. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
That is a
if
track,
you know.
by the way. I think that's a track on the soundtrack, right? Isn't it called?
I don't know what cue it is.
Yeah, I believe it is called Palpatine's Teachings.
That would make a certain amount of sense.
Something like that. Yeah. Anyways, it's somewhere. I've heard it at one point.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's important to the narrative.
Oh, actually, you know what I'm thinking of?
What are you thinking of?
I'm not thinking of Revenge of the Sith. I'm thinking of the Force Awakens soundtrack. Because there's a part of the Force Awakens soundtrack with Snoke's scenes where it sounded like the Squid Lake Opera House scene. And I feel like that's where people started being like, oh my God, is Snoke Plagueis? Like it was literally because the music was like, it's Plagueis. And people were making that connection. Yeah, this is really going deep into the
we failed to
2015
realize
lore.
that the connection was instead just Palpatine and clones.
Yes. The whole time. That was the plan. The whole time.
It's a little less thrilling, but it's okay. It's okay, we get over it. So shout out to our best meme winner. Have you ever heard of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? It is not a story the Jedi would tell you. Anyway.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy for you. Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you to the meme. That brings us to our next highly important category. Now,
this is a tough one.
This is a really tough one because in addition to being a highly memeable movie, and maybe it's also just when it hit in both of our young lives that so much of this movie would just become like cornerstone us, cornerstone of our lives. Like it's always been there sort of a thing. But the best sound effect, it's a little bit impossible to pin down, although I've got some thoughts. And I'm going to fight for them. Now, number one is, of course, again, I'm very predictable. The Grievous monocycle. Yes. Legendary, iconic, just tickles my brain. Just is so delightful. It's the very best. Number two, much more sad, but in that same Utapau hole. I don't know what you would call the city, but it goes down. I don't know. Boga's screech. Okay. And I recognize that's not necessarily a happy sound, but the whop, whop, best of my greatest thing ever. Okay. Greatest thing ever. These are great.
Oh, you're talking specifically the one where she gets shot at and she's like falling and she's like, Arr!
But just like her, the noise that she makes in general is like very interesting and satisfying to the ear.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have two more. We can throw the fourth one out if we need to, but I just would like to say my piece and then we can move on. Okay, the Grievous fight when he's dying, but he's like coughing. It's so good.
Oh, when he's like, he starts like screaming.
Yeah. Right? Okay. Really satisfying.
I love
so
our sound
good.
effects. Ben Burt would be so proud.
So good. And then my fourth one is lava on the bridge during the Battle of the Heroes, specifically. Like lava spilling onto the bridge.
Oh, and like when the lava hits lava hits the wiring on the things, it's like,
Yep.
Oh, that's so good.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
So
good.
I know.
Frick me.
What are your nominees, Brad?
Okay, and as we're talking, by the way, I have R.I.P. to J.W. Rinsler. I have the Sounds of Star Wars book with foreword by Ben Burt at the ready. So depending on which winner we have, I'm going to look for it and I'm going to see if I can find it. And we're going to read the nugget for the winner as a little tribute to Rinsler.
Okay. Is that Revenge of the Sith sounds, or is it like Star Wars sounds in general?
It's all 6 movies.
It's all okay.
If
it was just Revenge of the Sith sounds, I would say like this is the most important book that I don't own. I need it right now. But if it's all 6, if it's the original 6, and like maybe I need it a little bit less because like who needs the sounds from Empire Strikes Back? Not me.
There's some good ones in there though. That's like OG,
really
like creating the soundscape of Star Wars in the 80s. Like
that's me joking. This is me joking. This is me making a jokey joke. I just really love the sounds of the prequels.
You just love the prequels.
I'm very passionate about Revenge of the Sith sounds. Okay, what are your nominees, Brad?
You had more than 3, right?
I had 4 total.
Okay, I'm just gonna list all 5 that I have.
You're fine.
Okay, so I had General Grievous Speeder.
Yep.
Boga the Varactyl, not Boba. Autocorrect is like really messing with me. Boga the Varactyl.
Wow, we
I
have the same.
General Grievous when he's helicoptering his lightsabers on the ground when he's going towards Obi-Wan.
Yep.
And the way that the saber is hitting the floor. Oh, so good. The General Grievous bodyguard stun rod.
Oh.
And the way that they move around.
The Magna Guards?
Wow, wow. Yeah, the Magna Guards. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's spicy.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of cooked with that one.
Yeah.
And I remember that one specifically, the old micro series, Gendy Tartakovsky Clone Wars series is where they first appeared. And when we first heard those sounds, and I was always just like so intrigued by it. So,
yeah.
And lastly, shout out Buzz Droid.
Oh,
gotta love the Buzz Droid.
No, that's so good. Like the clicky clacky of the Buzz Droids if they're walking.
And the way they talk. I love it. And like the moment when it's like R2 and the Buzz Droid on the ship and you get more of the Buzz Droid up close.
Yeah.
There's so many good moments there.
This is a great moment. I think I've told this story on the pod before, but I used to have a tri-fighter toy that had little Buzz Droids with it. And I love that little toy and the Buzz Droids that came with it. And Buzz Droids, you always have a fond place in my heart. Thank you for existing and being a nuisance. Your nominees are excellent. I think my nominees are also excellent, but we have two sounds that overlap. Should we narrow it down to our 2 overlapping sounds?
Yeah, so Boga and Speeder.
Boga and I gotta speak my truth. I love both of these sounds very much, but if I had to give it to one, it would be
really.
It would, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know
did
it's bold.
not see that coming.
You didn't see that coming with how much I love General Grievous in this movie?
I was going to argue for Boga. Like, I know we split the Gorg.
For Boga. Wow.
I know we split the Gorg 3 ways for tertiary, but like, I feel like Boga kind of deserves an uncut Gorg. We're going to really like go up to Boga and be like, thank you for your service. Here's like a third of a Gorg. And she's going to be like, what the F?
But if she gets a third of a Gorg and a half of a Gorg, then she's got most of the Gorg.
Oh, so you're saying we should split the Gorg in half again?
Well, I feel quite passionate about the General Grievous cycle. Like I really love the sound. like it really speaks to me. Like it really speaks to me. I can't explain why I love that sound so much, but like, oh God, whenever I hear it, it just my brain is so happy. I mean, Boga's too, but like there's something about the whir of the cycle that is just so delicious.
It is pretty delicious. I'm not going to lie. And the fact that we get Boga and the wheel bike going at each other in the same scenes, you're getting like inundated with like Star Wars ASMR at that point. Yeah. So you're saying split the Gorg? Or are you saying we have only wheel bike?
I think, well, I've now turned on the scene. So if you can hear it in the background of my audio, I'm so deeply sorry to you, Brad, as an editor. But these sounds are hand in hand. You hear them at the same time. Boga's kind of screeching. She's kind of doing her thing. And then you hear the wah, 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 wah at the same time. It makes for a really thrilling moment as we go throughout that scene.
I see the vision. I'm okay with it.
Want to split the Gorg?
If that's what you want to do, I support it. I support it.
I want to split the Gorg.
Have we reached our, like, is this where you only get like one mulligan in golf? Like, have we reached the Gorg splitting? Because this might have to be the last Gorg we split.
No, we
gotta make
rules.
some tough decisions.
I'm not willing to say no. This is the end until it's the end, Brad.
Okay. I'm gonna really push for us not to split any more Gorgs, but I'll do.
But you have to understand that these 2 sound effects go together.
They are, and that's why you can't split them apart. So I agree. Let's split the Gorg. Congratulations to Boga the Varactyl and the General Grievous speeder bike.
That's right.
I do have this for listeners who have this book on page 268. the sounds of Star Wars
Fun facts. Fun
by
facts. Let's go.
J.W. Rinsler. So, Boga Roar. To get around Utapau, where the Jedi is hunting Grievous, Obi-Wan saddles up on a giant dragon-like beast. The Boga vocals were a combination of sounds, including a Tasmanian devil recorded for Willow, 1988, with some dog and coyote yelps from the Skywalker Sound Library.
Incredible.
Yep.
Incredible work.
Speeder bike. Next page 271. Kenobi disarms Grievous, who flees on a contraption that looks like one of the vehicles of the future designed by artists in the 1950s. This is a quote from Ben Burt, who says, "You look at General Grievous's wheel bike and it's nasty, loud, and dangerous. I thought a chainsaw would be perfect."
Yeah. Ben Burt, I love you for that. That was great. That went crazy, man.
I have to say for a minute, like Ben Burt, this is officially, I guess this is like why split the Gorg? Actually, no, we should split the Gorg to the sound effects. But I think we need to give one more Gorg to Ben Burt.
Just to Ben Burt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I support that. I fully support that.
I think he's already received a Lifetime Achievement Award from us for a Gorg. But here's another one anyways, for Rots specifically.
That's right.
It is wild to think about just the Skywalker Sound Library.
I know.
And just the artistry of sound designers, sound mixers, Foley artists. I just think it's something we take for granted when we're watching the movie, and just realizing like how many of the things in Star Wars that we do not have a reference for that had to be created to sound and to look at it and hear it and be like, that's exactly what that sounds like.
Yes.
But to never even know. Like that's just, it's a wild artistry to me. And I praise all sound people. It's just, you're like the heroes. Truly.
I so agree. And I really think about it when I think about Grievous. Again, everything is Grievous. Everything comes back to Grievous in my mind. So sorry. But
everything makes me think of him.
Everything makes me think of him. Yeah. When he's coughing and it's like the chunkiest cough, and it's so fascinating for him as a character because he's somewhere in between man and machine, you know, and that's what makes his design so interesting. And then like the veracity, the sort of power of the sounds that he has, like in his death scene, when he speaks, when his arms split, you know, like I think the sound language for Grievous in particular is really, really cool.
Yeah. I always liked his cough for some reason.
His cough, it's so chunky. It's so great. Yeah. It's so good. I have no notes. Like I love it. His death scene, and also the way that the blaster sounds.
Oh,
when
yeah.
When it hits and his heart like lights on fire.
It's a real good one. Yeah.
Oh God.
This movie's so perfect.
Good.
I cannot wait to see it in theaters. I might see it multiple times.
Stop.
I think you need to see
saying.
it multiple times as somebody who is experiencing it. I just keep coming back to that. I'm so excited for you.
No,
I'm so excited for you.
I'm going to lose my mind. Like I love Rots so much. Anyway.
So good. So good.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to Boga and Grievous's Speeder and Ben Burt for another honorary Gorg. You're the man.
Thank you for your service, Ben Burt. We are appreciative.
So we have best costume here next up.
Oh gosh.
My nominees are Liberty Dies Padme. Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Ian McDiarmid.
Ooh.
I would say specifically like just like the red robes. I think of like those photo shoots from Rots where he's like standing like in like random places and he's just like posing. All of those outfits, all those costumes. And then specifically again, Padme. And specifically the outfit that she's wearing when she tells Anakin that she is pregnant. Because she's wearing this kind of, and I know we have a reference here that I put in our Google Doc, but it's the top left photo.
Yes.
Where she's wearing this kind of, she's got the like classic Leia space buns. And I feel like that was a big moment for, 2005 Easter eggs, everything is an Easter egg now, but like this was like real, like, oh my God, we got an Easter egg. It's Leia, and I think that was really cool to see the, it makes me think like, did Leia know her mom wore these at some point? Was it just, maybe she was just born with it, the space buns.
The space buns.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's 3, isn't it? Okay. My nominees are, of course, the GOAT, the love of my life, Liberty Dies Padme. It's the best Padme costume. It's everything to me. It is the one costume that I collect in pins and enamel pins. And the halo hair. Oh God. Okay. I also am going to say Tion Medin again. I love his design so deeply. And I think that the deep colors of his costume and the way that the collar kind of comes all the way up around his ears, like, is so compelling. It's so interesting. And the actor who plays Tion Medin, like, embodies and has the right, like, kind of shape to make that really narrow silhouette of the costume work. I will also say that Anakin's leathers are so cool.
So good.
So good. And I have one more, and this is my little Easter eggy one. She's not even a tertiary character. She is a cameo practically, but she is Bail Organa's aide, Sheltae Raytrack. And for anybody who doesn't know that costume, please go look it up. SheltayRetrac. Okay, Sheltae Raytrack has this white costume. It's reminiscent of Leia in her outfits, but it has this cold shoulder cloak over a sleeveless dress in a nice white. And I love this dress very much.
I had completely forgotten about her, and this is a great outfit. That's a great call out.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I really would love to have a cosplay of this particular character because I'm so obsessed with the cold shoulder. This dress is so good. I have no idea how I'd make it though. If I ever have money, I will commission somebody to make it. Thank you.
Maybe you have some time before Japan.
Yeah, right. And also, with what skill?
True.
Thank you.
Skillless. Yep.
I have no skill. Thank you. Anyway, I would like to posit that this is an obvious winner.
I think so. And I think this is probably one where we can save some time on the awards show, you know, like we don't have to mince words.
Right.
We kind of know.
The award goes to the greatest of all time, Liberty Dies Padme.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
It's just the absolute best. There's nothing better than the halo of her hair and the way that kind of emulates the Rebellion logo, the puffiness of her sleeves, which is also kind of, there's a certain puffiness in Palpatine's sleeves as well. So there's still that Naboo kind of thread, which is interesting. The deep purples, the little bit of the embellishments of the silver at the neckline to hold that kind of cloak jacket up. The way that the neckline comes up and out is super structured. Just a beautiful, beautiful dress. Thank you.
100%. 100%. I think that Rebellion-esque medal that she wears on her head, I think that's like just such a perfect piece. And when you think of like the silhouettes of Star Wars, like to me, yes, that's always one where I'm just like, yes, if I see a silhouette, I know exactly who it is and when it was. So you don't get many of those.
We just have to thank Trisha Bigger for her beautiful, impeccable, no notes, stunning work and her fabric choices in general, which are just to die for.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Trisha, come on the pod. We need to get some, I'm just putting it out into the universe. Let's get some like Rot's 20th interviews going. I'll try to make that happen.
Brad's like, I'm just going to say them all out loud and hopefully some people will come on the pod. I'll send some emails too, but I'm just going to say everybody out loud.
I will be sending emails closer to May. I will do it.
Right.
I'll do it.
During April when we're all going to be in Japan. It's fine.
Yes. Great. Well, we can move on to our next category here, which is a little bit of a moment, actually, I would say. You know, we have lost many a soul in the Star emphasis on war due to war, because the galaxy is just a dangerous place. So this is our first ever in memoriam on the Golden Gorg Awards. And, you know, we want to take a moment to talk through deaths, you know, just kind of talk through some of the deaths and, you know, maybe a little commentary here and there. and then we'll hand out our award for the most heartbreaking death before we get into our final categories of the night.
That's right. There's so many deaths to be sad about in this movie, but there's also just a lot of death, and it all is very sad. So I would like to highlight the death of some of our favorite, least favorite Nemoidians and Separatists, just because of their names are so good, including Poggle the Lesser, Rune Hako, Newt Gunray, and Wat Tambor. I love their names so much, especially Poggle the Lesser. Shout out to Poggle the Lesser.
A bunch of idiots stuck in a boardroom.
That's right.
You know, you just kind of had it coming.
Very unfortunate for them.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Maybe you should have met somewhere else. Not the fire planet, you know? Kind of a bad choice.
The lava planet was a tough one. Anyway.
Right.
What are some deaths you'd like to remember?
I got me thinking about R4P17, who was tragically torn apart by buzz droids at the beginning of the film.
Right,
Buddy,
at the beginning, yeah.
I'm so sorry. You were just locked in there. You could not escape. If you tried to escape, you were just going to float in space forever. And there was just truly nothing he could do. So I think one of the most tragic deaths, Ayla Secura, shot by clones. Not only shot by clones, but like shot repeatedly by clones in the back. And you just see her body like moving around. That always traumatized me as a kid, that death specifically.
It's so sad.
I was thinking about Zet Jukasa. Yeah. Shot by clones at the Jedi Temple. Like the death that Bail Organa sees.
He was such a baby.
Yeah.
Too.
Really, really heartbreaking ones in here.
RIP to literally pretty much all the Jedi. A really deeply upsetting event that occurred, and which Palpatine's very evil for, and attempts to be like, no, the Jedi were bad. He's seeing the deep layers of hell. I just know it. I know he's a fictional character, but he's down there. And so are his clones when they die too. Anyway, I would also like to remember our Jedi who really wanted to do the right thing and confront Palpatine and suggest a path forward, but lost the battle, including Agent Kolar, Sassy Tin, Kit Fisto, and ultimately Mace Windu.
Tragic.
The Jedi,
definitely tragic.
The Jedi were definitely too enmeshed with the Republic, that is for sure, but they did not deserve that ending.
Truly not. I also do want to shout out to, it's weird. It's like, shout out to the person who died. Shout out to.
You could just use other language other than shout out. Like,
I know,
I'd like
just
to
think
remember.
about shout out. Yeah, I'd like to remember all the lives lost on Coruscant. You know, I think that was something that kind of I realized as we were reading Mask of Fear was just like the destruction on Coruscant, right? Like,
right.
Obi-Wan's like, another happy landing. Meanwhile, people are like dying in the Undercity because all of the debris is falling on the city and people are dying. And I'm like, Obi-Wan, another happy landing for you.
That's right.
Have you ever asked maybe other folks had not so happy of a landing?
That's right.
Think about that.
We also have to, of course, remember some of our favorite sound effects. The death of General Grievous. Very tragic. I would like to see General Grievous in all media, but alas, he is dead. And the very bold choice to decapitate Count Dooku in like the first 25 minutes of this film.
Anakin
like
Skywalker needed permission.
Like, that was crazy.
Matthew Stover.
Yeah. That was crazy. But it happened, and I can't believe that there's a decapitation in Rots. What a very bold choice, George Lucas.
Speaking of sound effects, by the way, when he decapitates Dooku, and it's like the sound effect of the lightsaber, and there's like a little trail effect.
Right.
I always thought that was like the perfect sound effect for that moment, because it's almost like the sound effect of the lightsaber is like echoes. It's like a you've made this choice, you can't unmake this choice moment.
Right.
And we're just left to hear that silence and that tapering of the lightsaber. Gosh, so many heartbreaking deaths, so much death in this movie. Every time I watch it, I'm like, can I change it? No, I cannot. No matter how hard I try.
It's very sad.
Yeah. What were your top 3 most heartbreaking deaths that you chose?
Oh gosh. There's an obvious one here, and that is the death of Padme Amidala. And Padme's funeral and everything associated with it is so sad. It's so sad. I am also personally, as a lover of Boga the Varactyl, have to say Boga the Varactyl is a very upsetting death. Boga did nothing wrong.
Did we see a body?
You know what? I have to accept that it is a death in order to move on with my life. But did we see a body? No. But has Boga returned? Also, no.
Otherwise, Sarah would be that person who for like 15, 20, 30 years of her life has like a post-it board a board of post-it notes, and she's like, Boga's alive, I gotta find her. And we're like, Sarah, it's time to move on. And she's like, no, she's still out there.
Okay,
You've
and that's
accepted
already
your
how I am
peace.
about the case.
Right.
Yeah. And that's already how I am about the Kazrat device. So we don't need me to be. And if the Kazrat device could fit in this way, and then it could be the most important thing, you need a dark side or a light side, or to use it together. Yeah. Anyway,
if Rada the Hutt could just pull it out of his ripped abs and just use it.
Stop about Rada the Hutt. I want to forget about it until I'm unable to forget about it. Okay, I would like to not think about it. My final nominee is the death of Anakin Skywalker.
That's a deep meta pick.
Yeah.
That's a real pick.
We see him as a slave boy on Tatooine, so full of joy, so full of life, wanting to win that pod race. And then we see kind of the light leave his eyes as he falls into darkness, into anger, into fear, into hate, into suffering, and into making choices that hurt others.
Oof, that's a really good choice, actually. You got me thinking already. My choice is, of course, Padme. The Japor snippet shot, that's just like the ultimate heart-wrenching cake topper of that scene, to just be like, that's what she's left with. Right. Jesus. My God.
Yeah, it's a punch right in the face.
Yeah. Yep. Multiple punches in the face, one might say. Mace Windu, who, I think oftentimes has received a lot of unwarranted hate for, being like, Anakin, don't come with me, and, bad timing for Anakin to walk in. But like, honestly, I think they were just in such unknown territory with like really just underestimating the Sith, right? Like, it's not even like Mace's actions. It's just like the overall dogma and hubris of the Jedi to just be like, we can go take this with 3 people, right? Or 4 people. And I think that was just severely underestimated by all parties. But Mace is being kind of the most heart-wrenching death there, because he makes the plea to Anakin. He's like, this guy's too dangerous to be kept alive. And like, Mace was like kind of right. Mace was kind of right.
He was right.
Granted, if he killed Palpatine in that moment, what does that mean about the Jedi, and who would have believed Mace, in the aftermath, right? Like, who would have actually thought?
Sure.
So there's some questions to ask there, but still heartbreaking. And Count Dooku, who, a tool of Palpatine, and I think what makes his death so awful is, I think in that moment, it's when he realizes Palpatine is Sidious.
And that he's been played.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, kill him now. And like, I think it's the moment of realization for Dooku to be like, I've heard that before in the same voice, and now I know who you are. And that's why he looks at him. And it's like that moment of just like, I played the fool. So, oh my gosh, we've spent a lot of time on this category, but like, I don't even know. I don't even know where to land. I know we've given a lot of awards to Padme, and like, that's certainly one of the, probably, if not the most heart-wrenching death in Star Wars. So like, I can make an argument for that.
I can very easily make an argument for that.
But the Anakin Skywalker pick is also like kind of a really good one, because it sort of encapsulates like Anakin's journey to be like, he is no longer Anakin, right? Like, he is dead, and he is reborn anew for the love of his son.
Right.
So does Anakin Skywalker ever truly die? Is he, because he's reborn?
It's a fair point. As much as I, nominate the death of Anakin Skywalker, I really think that this ought to go to Padme. She is really kind of the emotional crux of Anakin's turn to the dark side, his fear of losing her. And her death not only affects him and the lives of their soon to be born children, but also the galactic politic, the social fabric in some ways. And her strong opposition to Palpatine is not exactly picked up in the same way by any other senator. Each of them are doing their own things. You know, Mask of Fear is great for this. I really recommend it. But there's some conversation in Mask of Fear about the ways in which Bail and Mon allied to Padme, and the fact that she was kind of the glue for a lot of people, including Bail and Mon. And of course she's young, so seeing her parents in the funeral procession, knowing that, you know, she's not being lost just as a senator, not just as a wife or a daughter or any of these things, but also as a queen to her people on Naboo. There's the loss of Padme in the galaxy is a significant one.
Yeah, totally. And I think, you know, maybe if not for the loss of Padme, would there have been the rise of the rebellion? Because in some ways she's sort of served as a martyr, right? Like the ghost of Padme, of like what could have been, and maybe like what she would have wanted, right? So there's that like uncertainty there of like, how do we live up to her legacy? Which, you know, not saying she had to die for the rebellion to form, but like there's a certain emotional weight and guilt there that I think resides for certain characters, like Bail, who's like, I gotta, not only do I have to like continue the rebellion or like start some sort of rebellion, but like I also have her daughter. Yeah. So there's that responsibility. So I think she haunts a lot of our characters, both positively and negatively. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the power of Padme and like why her death echoes through the galaxy, you know? So I'm okay with that. So I think we should give Padme another Gorg.
Also, the fact that she has her own very dramatic funeral scene. Yeah. I think speaks to the power as well.
Oh, got the music there too, like echoing Qui-Gon's funeral.
Yeah. Nobody look at me. I'm crying right now. It's the worst. It's so sad. Also, all right, Natalie Portman, I love you.
Yeah. Padme Amidala, another Gorg. Salute. Well, salute emoji. That's all we could say. Yeah.
We love her.
Yeah.
This brings us to our special award. And I know that we've talked a lot about a lot of death, a lot of sadness. And so I wanted to cut the tension a little bit and give out a special award. And this award is meaningful and notable because it is something that has haunted us, negative connotation, for the past 20 years, and that I wish the movie didn't have. And I will cover my ears in the movie theater. I'm not joking. It's really uncomfortable for me.
What a transition here.
I know. So it's something I'm really sad about, that it's still in the movie and has not been updated in a special edition by George Lucas. And this award is to the worst sound effect. We speak so highly of the sound effects throughout, you know, not just ROTS, but of the entire franchise. There's so many sound effects that we can think about or moments that feel so Star Wars and make up the language of this galaxy. And this one is unfortunately included among them, but negative connotation. It's the worst thing ever. Why did George Lucas do this? I have questions. I have no answers. And all I live with is pain. So I would like to announce that the worst sound effect is Yoda's nails on the side of the Senate pod. It makes me uncomfortable to speak about. Like, I'm wanting to like claw my teeth out right now. It's like I can feel the scratching on my teeth. It really bothers me. Thank you.
Wow. Would you rather never get to watch ROTS again?
Whoa.
Or the nail sound just played in your mind like every like
I'm
20,
never watching
every 30 minutes.
I am never watching ROTS again. Ever. Yeah.
That's probably not a very good would you rather, but I had to ask.
Yeah, no, it's really
yeah.
it's been paining me since I was age 7. So
Wow.
yeah,
No more rots for Sarah.
no
This
more
was
ruts
a
if I never have to hear that sound again.
yeah, no, this is a one and only nominee for this category. So we will
Right.
move on and not think about it any further. But
It
we
is
had to
just a
acknowledge
special award for why do you exist? Why are you here? You hurt me
Right.
personally.
yes.
Yoda, why are your nails this long? Why did we spend like 4 seconds on this particular sound effect? Like that was mean.
Far too long.
Anyway, this brings us to the 2 most important categories of the evening. The big awards. Everybody, you've been sitting in the audience waiting for our nominees, for our winners of best scene and best performance. Brad, would you like to take us to the next award here?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
penultimate.
Is it best performance that we're going with first?
Whatever you want to do next, because I think these
Yeah.
are both very good.
Cool. Okay, let's do best performance. I have 3 nominees here.
Let's go.
As much as I would want to include more, but we have Ian McDiarmid as
Mhm.
Palpatine. We have Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, and we have Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker.
Excellent nominees. I would like to nominate Ewan McDermott, Jesus Christ, Ewan McGregor. Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi, Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker, and of course, Natalie Portman as
Ooh.
Padme Amidala.
Okay, so no Ian McDiarmid.
I did not nominate Ian McDermott in this category.
Got it. I would be okay getting rid of him for the purposes of this discussion, because I believe we actually gave him a Gorg before. We may have already given him a Gorg.
I think we've given him a Gorg.
You know, and there's like
This is-
politics involved with Oscars.
you know
It's
what?
like, it's their time. Like,
The Lifetime
You
Achievement
know.
Award.
right.
I would like to, but I would like to say that when we do our Gorgs next year, we revisit all of our nominees and winners from past Gorgs, and maybe we take a couple minutes on the pod to share about some of our past Gorgs winners, to share some Gorgs history on our 5-year
Ooh.
anniversary.
Okay. Like a chart, like a pie chart, bar graph.
Like who's won the most Gorgs.
Yeah.
But we can also just tell our listeners some of the most notable Gorg winners.
True. Yeah, no, I think we
Right.
should do that.
This is an audio medium.
Yeah. I think we have if I'm thinking of what we might do next year for the Gorgs too, by the way, I think we have a good show.
Did you see my reply to your message to me at the beginning of this episode about next year's Gorgs category?
You know? Oh,
Because I think
yeah,
we're gonna
or
have
that.
2 like really big ones. that we're
Yeah,
gonna have to
yeah.
choose from. Anyway,
Yeah.
we can talk about that next year. But
5 years is going to be special is what we're saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that we could, if you'd like, to narrow it down to our 2 nominees in common, Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen. You know, kind of the
Agreed.
core performances of this movie. I would like to make an argument for Ewan McGregor and the scene that we would play, or that we have played to you, the listeners. I'm not saying you need to pull that clip. I'm just saying, like, as if we were a real award. Thank you, real award show.
We play clips here.
That we do clips. So we love clips. So everybody gets a little bit like taste of the acting nominee, but it's also sometimes a ridiculous clip. But maybe we show the same clip for both of the nominees. But I there's something so powerful about, you are the chosen one, Anakin.
Yeah.
I loved you. You were my brother.
You have done that yourself.
There is such power in him having the high ground and speaking to Anakin as he burns. Shout out to Hayden Christensen for just like
Immolating.
doing the most as he is burning up, because it's really good and also very painful to watch. But there's just something about the pain that you feel for Obi-Wan as he's watching this happen, and as he understands that this is kind of what has to happen in this moment. But also as he's leading up to this final point, as he's trying to fix it, as he's trying to make him see the good in everything and come back to where he was. I think that Ewan McGregor's performance is really spectacular and worthy of a Gorg.
I could get down with that. I think, I was thinking of Hayden, winning the Razzie, back in 2005, and I was like, maybe this is his time to revert course and give him a Gorg, right? Undo the sins of the past, one might say. And I gotta say, like, his performance, I know it's often memed, and it's like, oh, he's so whiny and all blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, he was given a lot.
He is given a lot, yeah.
Like the single tear coming down his face during Anakin's dark deeds.
There's such pain. There's such pain in his performance. It's really spectacular.
I just don't. I think people like really undervalue his like what he brought to the role, look wise, like the way that he just emulates Anakin. He just is Anakin. Like I could never think of anybody else being Anakin except him and Jake Lloyd, obviously too. But like, I don't know. He's so perfect, and we're so blessed to have Hayden back in Star Wars doing more Anakin. Regardless of quality of show or whatnot, but I'm so happy he's back.
Yeah, I have to agree with you.
I would agree with you though that I think giving it to Ewan is probably right because of your reasons that you listed. He's just giving so much in that immolation scene and throughout like pretty much the whole movie, like kind of that like humor and camaraderie with Anakin, and you really feel like when you start the movie. He is just there's just such a like vibe between them, like the way that they banter back and forth in the elevator and
we're smarter than this.
Yeah. And I think he just did such a good job like portraying that brotherhood to where by the end of the movie, like you understand it and like you buy into it. Even though the second movie is a lot of them like kind of bickering back and forth and they're mostly separated, but like at the times they are together, they're arguing. So, and again, I think that's like largely up to both Ewan and Hayden, but Ewan really sells it as the master, as the teacher, as the adults in the room, kind of. So
I agree with you. With you.
So are we doing it?
I think this Gorg for best performance goes to Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Which brings us to our final category of the night, best scene. Now, like many of our categories this evening, there could be 1,000 nominees. It could be possible that we have 6 different nominees for this category. Could be possible that we totally overlapped as well, but we're about to find that out. I would like to nominate, of course, this is an obvious one as this episode has gone on, the moment where Palpatine ascends to the Emperor and we get that iconic speech and moment of "This is how liberty dies" with thunderous applause. It is the turning point of everything in the Star War, and it is heartbreaking because we, of course, know what is to happen to everybody, and Padme certainly has an idea, but nobody else quite knows the choice that they've just made because they have been in the dark about the whole plan. The second scene I would like to nominate this evening is none other than Have You Ever Heard the Tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? There is something about the opera as a setting, the Mon Calamari opera. There's something about the grandeur of that space and the way that opera is set up. There's something about the box. There's something about the stillness of Palpatine in that scene and the way that they're both shot. Palpatine and Anakin. It's just a really incredible, very still, but very important turning point for Anakin. And my final scene is maybe a little bit of a curveball, but it is the landing of the invisible hand.
Oh, that's got a good track too. Like
it's got a good track.
Oh, that was the trailer music too.
It's thrilling. It's fast paced. It is high stakes. It's really fun to watch them try and figure this all out as the ship is falling apart. It's great.
R2 is just going haywire. He's just like, what did I get myself into? Yeah. No, he's living his best life there. Those are really, really good choices. We do have one overlap, one kind of overlap. So, and one overlap with character.
Let's hear it.
So I also have the opera house scene between Palpatine and Anakin. I just think that is Ian doing his thing, his most maniacal thing. He's just, it's so good. And the lore there and the way that it opened up the Acolyte for its story to kind of be, I don't ever want to say retcon because that's not what happened, but like recontextualized and expanded upon. Right. And it's like, oh, like maybe there's more to the story of the Chosen One and of the prophecy and of midichlorians and creating life than we thought. So that was really cool. I also have the opening space battle, not specifically the invisible hand part, but the opening where, man, when you were in that theater in 2005, you get that opening crawl.
And as I will be in 2025. Yeah.
And those drums come in, you're like, what is going on? And then you pan down, you're just immediately in a space battle. You're like, what is going on? And so just to open the movie in that way and giving you, it just opens your imagination and you're just like completely bought in within like 30 seconds of the movie. So just incredible stuff. My last scene is the death of Padme and the birth of Vader. I think the juxtaposition between light and dark and death and life and seeing, just knowing that they're possibly somehow connected to each other. I feel like in that moment where Anakin is thinking of Padme, he's asking about Padme the first time he's up and she's dying and giving birth and and the way that whole scene is set up with the Imperial logo in the chamber that Anakin's in on the ground and Padme with, Bail and Yoda and Obi-Wan who are going to shepherd her children, right? And her last words being like, there's still good in him, right? Like even in her dying moments and knowing why she's dying because she has been choked out by her own husband in a fit of anger and of greed and dark sidery, like she still believes in him. And that's not the most Jedi thing ever. Like in her final moments, like Padme was exactly what a Jedi should be herself, And I think that was just like it was like the rise of Padme as in this like kind of Jedi selflessness. Meanwhile, Anakin on the other side is like, look where selfishness has gotten you. You are now a prisoner within this metal suit. So, yeah, wow. Just such a scene. And of course the music, of course.
Right. Oh, gosh. I feel like we've got a bunch of winners here.
Best for last.
Our overlap is a pretty strong one.
Yeah.
But is it the best?
It's a good one. It's a noteworthy one.
It's a noteworthy one for sure.
Yeah.
It's a very talky sort of scene. I'm surprised neither of us said the immolation scene, actually.
I had it on my list and it probably should be up there, and I think I actually replaced it with Padme's death in Vader's birth because I feel like I was kind of more focused on like the consequences, right? Like in the moment it's very emotional, but then like kind of getting that second dagger in your heart immediately after with the death of Padme is just like, come on, man. This is already so hard. This movie's already been so draining emotionally and I have to like witness this now. And somehow Anakin being turned into a machine is like worse than him being on fire in my eyes.
I hear you. I am actually willing to give up the opera scene. I know that's the one we have in common. And I know the landing of the invisible hand is a bit out of left field.
It's a good one, though.
It's a good one. But I would like to fight for Palpatine's ascendance to the Chancellery or to the Emperorness. Empire to the Emperorness. I don't know how you would say that. And Padme's Liberty Dies moment. I think I walk away from all of Rots with Liberty Dies being like the strongest impression in my mind. So I'm kind of like stuck between Liberty Dies and the death of Padme and Vader's like situation. And
yeah. Palpatine's rise, obviously, especially timely
waiting.
in an age where, you know, one man is trying to become the law of an entire
Right.
nation, and you know, these people are the enemy,
Right.
and I am the Senate, right? Like those are quite literally things that we've heard in the last month, almost
Mm-hmm.
word for word at this point. And so I think there's some, you know, the way that George Lucas always ahead of his time, and I always think of democracies aren't taken, they're given away, right?
Mm-hmm.
Democracy is a fragile thing. It works because people believe in it. It works because people respect it. It works because people want to uphold it. And I think it was that moment where Padme is just like, are we kidding? Like we're all applauding this, and it's explored in the
Right.
Mask of Fear to say like part of Palpatine's rise is his false promise of peace. Like I got you guys out of the war and I'm becoming the emperor to make sure that we stay in a peacetime.
Yeah. And there's a certain sadness, I think, to both of these scenes. They're both the kind of the weight of what has happened scenes. So I could go either way.
God, this is such a hard one. We've had two
I know.
such hard choices, and both involve Padme.
I know.
Both
Everything
involve
involves
death.
Padme.
Death of democracy or death of the chosen one.
Yeah.
End
Everything
of
is
Padme.
great.
Yeah.
I
We're just thinking about
I-
death. You ever think about dying, as Barbie would say?
Oh my God. I still haven't seen Barbie, actually. A fun fact
Oh.
about me. I haven't seen Barb or Heimer.
Oppenheimer is a wild time. I need you to
Dude,
watch that
I
immediately.
know that I would enjoy both of those movies, but alas, I am just behind and not very cool.
I'm really struggling. I'm hoping you will say something first so that I don't have to.
I am sitting here watching these scenes
Holy.
on silently on my other screen here.
I don't know. Like, should we even give the Gorg out to such sad scenes? Like, is this like a weird note to end on?
Is the opera scene much better? It's about the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. It's about fixing what you fear to lose by, you know, gaining more and more power. If we're not going for sadness, we might as well choose the opening little space battle, a little fun little. I love flying. Let's land the invisible hand. Let's just have a little buzz droids.
Top 10 lightsaber duels.
What? Top 10 lightsaber duels.
We always talk on the show of like, we love when people talk in Star Wars, and here we are being like, let's choose the pew pew. But I'd be down. Maybe we should choose the pew pew this one time.
I'm just saying, you know, if we don't want to go for sad, like our only option is pew pew.
I think we might have to, because I don't want to end this episode sadly, and I think none of our listeners want to be sad ending this episode. Should we choose, you know, the opening of the drums and the space battle and the buzz droids and the shoot it down, Anakin, and, you know, flying in the hangar and jumping out of the freaking cockpit?
We're doing this funny thing where two of the scenes we're talking about are literally the opening scene and like pretty much the second to last scene. Because like Padme's funeral and the birth of Vader / essentially the scenes juxtapose it's Vader with Palpatine in front of the Death Star is like literally right before Obi-Wan gives away Luke Skywalker, and that's the end of the movie. And also we're like, here's the very opening, here's the very ending, and here's the most pivotal point in the movie. These are the best scenes. Which I mean, it makes a certain amount of sense, but we gotta choose something.
I mean, fair.
This is our most serious award of the night. This is going to change somebody's life.
This might be the hardest Gorg we've ever done. Like, actually, I'm really internally struggling right now, and I'm like, we could go for 15 more minutes, but I can't.
And just go back
because
and
I
forth.
have to watch Severance, episode 7, before I get EP. But
Right.
oh my gosh, tell me what you're thinking. If somebody put a Gorg to your head right now and they said choose,
Liberty dies.
what are you doing?
Liberty dies.
I'm in.
All right. That's
Somebody
it.
put a Gorg to my head too, and I'm just like, yep, let's do
The
it.
best scene goes to Palpatine's speech and Liberty's death. Very devastating for everybody in the galaxy.
Talk about recency bias. The 2 epigraphs of Mask of Fear as well, right? Like those are sticking in our mind at the moment.
For real.
You know, I think we're in like a
For
political, obviously in our own life, political time that's very, very extremely turbulent, to say the least. But also just the time period of Star Wars that's being explored. Very fascinating. I love this time period.
It's very compelling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, we made a decision. I'm happy.
We did it. So should we recap our awards? Do we remember all the winners?
Oh gosh.
We weren't writing them down.
I know, that was really on us. Okay, let's go back through. So we have Best Music Track, Padme's Ruminations. Best Performance. Oh, sorry. Let's go in the order of the thing. Best Music Track is Padme's Ruminations. Best Tertiary Character was split 3 ways between Boga and Tarful and the Midwife Droid. Best Meme. Have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
That's right.
Best Sound Effect. Another split Gorg between Boga and Grievous's Speeder. Best Costume was Liberty Dies Padme, naturally.
Do we really like the Liberty Dies moment? You tell me.
I might say, do we really like Padme? Because
I mean,
most
also
heartbreaking
yes.
death, also Padme Amidala. Of course, the worst sound effect, Lifetime Achievement Award to Yoda's nails.
That's right.
No other words. Best Performance, Ewan McGregor. And Best Scene, This is how Liberty dies, with thunderous applause.
Well, that's it. That's our awards. We've done it. Another year in the books, Brad.
Another year in the books. Padme took home a lot of awards tonight.
That's because we just really like Padme. Justice for Padme.
Truly. Truly. I had a good time doing this. I'm, again, excited for, discussions that we'll have later in the year around Roths. It may not be right around the time it's released in theaters, but we will get to it once we get through a very busy Andor High Republic summer. It's
crazy out there in 2025. So much is happening.
But I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. Next year, I think we have a couple options to choose from. So we're going to have to hash that one out and figure out which is...
we're going to fight to the death. There's only going to be one host by the end of it.
I know. We can't do 2 Gorg Awards. I mean, we could make up for the one that we missed last year.
Oh, now you're thinking. Now I'm thinking. But then does it ruin, is it having Last Jedi and Solo 4 months apart? Are we going to it's going to be too much at once? Too many Gorgs. It would just be a very extended Gorgs episode.
I know.
This is almost hitting 2 hours.
Damn.
Big Gorgs.
We really did that. We did that.
Well, I'm unsurprised. We do yap.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
We do. We should get a Gorg for yapping. Most yaps.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Gorg for most yaps goes to us. Thank you, everybody. Had a great time. I want to thank my mom, my dad for making me alive. That's a weird thing to include in my acceptance speech.
But it's important to your existence.
It happened.
I would personally like to thank our patrons who help support us on our Patreon and allow us to continue yapping. And I would like to name them in my speech if I can. Their names are Brian, Ben, Cheryl, Clay, Comment, David, Emma, Jennifer, Katie, Knights of Ren, Krista, Logan, Lucy, Lindsay, Matthew, Nicole, Rob, Ruth, Santa, Soulcatcher, Skytalkers, Tom, Travis, Jules, Viglyph, and Andy. Thank you all so much for your support, your belief in us. I would also like to thank the entirety of our listenership. It's an honor that you would vote for us as Star Wars yappers. I'm just really blessed to be here today to accept this award. And I want to thank my mom and my dad, who sometimes question my hobbies, but do love me at the end of the day.
That's nice. What's that like? I'm just kidding. Totally kidding. We hope you love all of us, though, and make sure to show that love by following us on Blue Sky, where we're mostly posting now. Blue Sky's awesome. Come join us and follow our podcast feed wherever you listen so that our episodes drop in your feed. We will be on a little bit of a hiatus for the next couple of weeks as we prep for Andor April. And we will be coming back full glory in April. We got one more episode, one more discussion with a friend of ours.
I don't
on
know
the
how
pod.
much of a hiatus we're gonna have whenever we decide to release these, but that's okay.
Yeah, and/or April's coming. It's gonna be big.
Yeah.
It's
Might
gonna
be
be
a
fun.
couple weeks. Might be a couple weeks without
Couple
us.
weeks.
Probably not
Yeah,
longer.
yeah.
Anyway,
But you will be
Thank you.
satiated while we are in Japan. Don't worry, you will have stuff.
right.
We're working on it.
And if you're also going to be in Japan, hi.
Hello.
Anyway, please stay hydrated. Please stay healthy. Be well. We'll see you in the next one. Well, rather you'll hear us in the next one. Again, this is an audio format.
If you see us in the next one, I'm looking out my window. You peeping Tom. Thank you all for listening. And until next time, may the force be with you always.